Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's Tuesday's market SITREP or situation report here at Top Gun Options. My name is Matthew Buckley. My call sign is Wiz. And man, what an epic day so far, and day ain't even over yet. From North Korea blowing up their liaison office to the Trump administration floating a $1 trillion another stimulus bill with some infrastructure in it. To Fed Chief Powell putting some air into the market, taking it out, and then putting some air back into the market, man. This is it's just absolutely incredible times that we live and trade in. Real quick, let's go to the tape, though. Overall view of the S&P 500, we had this rip-your-face-off rally through the 200-day moving average. We had that massive pullback. Was it last Wednesday? Literally last Tuesday. This time last week, I said, get long volatility, man. Something is going to happen. And then not only get long volatility, buy some puts, meaning some downside insurance on the Russell 2000. The next day, the Dow Jones was down 1,800 points. Now, I'd like to take full credit for that being skill. A little bit, a lot of luck, though. But the skill part of it was what? My knees were hurting, man. My neck was hurting. I'm whittling on the porch, and I can tell the storms are coming. And it did. Why am I bringing up what happened last week? Because we bounced, got a nice little dead cat bounce. Don't call PETA on me. It's a Wall Street term, right? Implosion, boing. How high do dead cats bounce? They really don't bounce that high, and they're still dead, unless they got 9 lives. So I, in the brief this morning, had a great brief, primary live trade brief. We took a look at some positions on CSX, the railroad play, which I'll talk about in a couple minutes. Couldn't get filled on that. We looked at Raytheon, a defense play. We'll talk about why in a couple seconds here. But also got long volatility again and got short via buying puts on the Russell again. Something's going to happen, especially between now and July 4th. So North Korea blew up this liaison office. So this liaison office was up in North Korea. And like the South Koreans were on the 3rd floor or whatever, and the North Koreans were on the 1st floor, and they'd meet on the 2nd floor in the middle, something like that. It was all supposed to be nice. And when they unveiled this place a couple years ago, this there's a picture of a United Korea on it. Yay, good times. They blew it up. So I mean, the South Koreans pulled their people out of there. Was it January 30th when they closed it? Seoul called back 58 staffers. So it's not like people were in there, but it's a pretty symbolic move here. So the cream of some young guy's sister, I think they're playing good cop, bad cop. I think the dear leader, Trump's good friend, wants to kind of keep the smiles and maybe be able to handshake with the Donald, and let the sister kind of be the belligerent one. But folks, every 4th of July, it seems like something happens. They launch their own fireworks, which really hasn't been anything super massive bad, and our markets are closed. But this is on my radar, okay? Especially with us just kind of arcing up here on day trader Dave Portnoy and people stuck at home who aren't sports betting, right? Whenever I see something like this, man, I kind of walk over to the protection bin and get some on, okay? So I bought some Russell puts, and I'm very happy with those that cover the 4th of July. So why the rip your face off rally? A couple reasons today. Trump team weighs $1 trillion. That's a T, man, for infrastructure to spur the economy. This is Donald Trump. That picture right there is Donald Trump. He loves this, right? He loves infrastructure, concrete, rebar, unions, asphalt. You name it, he likes building stuff. He's like a pig in shit with this stuff. So that's why I was looking at a trade on CSX, but not for the reason that you might be thinking, right? Was thinking, oh, yeah, well, get bullish on CSX. No. I'd sell the hell out of this and tried to with this pop. Look at this. Right at the open, I wanted to get bearish on CSX, and now it's down. Look at that. Nice implosion. Whoa, why would you get bearish on CSX, folks? Wiz. Why? Between now and the election, there is, you ready for this? It's Mr. Blutarski's GPA at Faber College. There is a 0.0% chance that this will pass before the economy. I mean, do you remember let me give you the history of the infrastructure talks between Nancy, Chuck, and the Donald. The first one, they came out and they were actually stunned, which is weird to see Nancy and Chuck speechless. That usually doesn't happen. Why? Because they came out and they're like, he like doubled what we asked for. When Democrats are shocked that a Republican wants to outspend them on something, I mean, it's saying a lot. But what happened? Any goodwill in that meeting was blown out of the water by the next meeting when, on the way to the White House, Nancy threw out a line to a reporter, the president broke the law and should be in jail. Oof. The president saw that, sat there with his arms crossed, waited for her to drive all the way over, and then told her, get out, essentially. Like, if that's what you're going to do, you're going to focus on impeachment and me potentially breaking the law, we're done. No infrastructure. And everything imploded. Do you remember that? That famous picture of Nancy Pelosi standing up in the whatever room and like pointing her finger at the president, and she had that like as her Twitter background, her profile pic for a while there. I got to be honest with you, in 29 years ish, 3 decades, let's round up, of being in military briefs and business briefs with everybody from the National Security Advisor to the CEOs of the Fortune 7. Anybody who's been standing up in a room in a meeting like that with their finger pointed across the table ain't the rational one in the room. Why am I rambling about this? Because this is a perfect Obama teachable moment. CSX was up about 2 or 3% today. I wanted to sell a bear call spread into that pop because there's no chance this is getting done. This is the president jawboning the market higher. I mean, look at let's go to the tape. Let's go to the Donald Twitter feed here. Wow. May retail sales show biggest 1 month increase of all time. Huge. Up 17.7%, far bigger than projected. Looks like a big day for the stock market and jobs. This is also the reverse indicator. When the Trump is texting or tweeting about the market, it usually does the exact opposite thing, man. So big rip your face off rally, obviously on retail sales. It was a powerful number, folks. Let's go to the tape. Tuesday, retail sales. Negative 14.7 was last month. Why are they green? Because they got revised down, which means up, right? It was negative 16.4, but it was a revision. It was less worse than expected. We were looking for a positive number this month, 17.9. We got 17.7. Those were blowout numbers. But let's not ignore this. The cap rate, the cap utilization rate. Why traders care? It's a leading indicator of consumer inflation. When producers are nearing full capacity, they respond by raising prices, and the higher costs are passed on to the consumer. The cap rate imploded. That's not good. What about this? Industrial production. That is an absolute huge miss right there. Negative 12.5, which was another revision in the wrong direction. This was revised up, which is bad. We were looking for a positive number. We got a positive number, but half of it. So, of course, the president's going to tout the only big green number on the screen today, and I get it. So that's why we're up. But also yesterday, folks, the Fed came out and said they're going to start buying a broad portfolio of corporate bonds. So let me get this straight. I run a really shitty $500 million company, and the Fed's going to buy my bonds to keep me in business. What? I got buddies who own restaurants in Fort Lauderdale or bars, single bars. They're not even open. You think they've heard from the Fed? This is a disgrace. The Federal Reserve, ladies and gentlemen, is back, and they're back in business bailing out Wall Street and hedge funds and not bailing out you. Billionaire hedge funds, billion-dollar hedge funds are tapping federal aid as well. They're doing the PPP. They're getting SBA loans. Billion-dollar money management companies. David Mabey, head of Chicago Capital LLC, $2 billion under management. They got $185,000. Doesn't sound like a lot. It's a lot. My buddy in Fort Lauderdale, who owns a bar that's not allowed to open, could use $185,000. Somebody tell me why Chicago Capital needs who has $2 billion needs $185,000. I can't I oh, that one resonated with us. We'll pay it back. Who returned the money less than a week later and had to pay the 1% interest that it accrued, $20.22. We were trying to do a good thing by returning it because we felt other people could have used it. You're a liar. You got caught, right? These funds are getting shamed into, holy crap, people are finding out that we took free money from the government. I don't blame them, right? But it's a disgrace. This is the moral hazard that the Fed is creating. The haves and the have-nots, okay? But yeah, hey man, don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Retail sales rose, a record 18% in May. I mean, that's a blowout number. So we're seeing a nice rally here. But as these things go up and as Chair Powell continues to jawbone the market higher here, always, always, always be looking towards the exit, folks. I'm telling you here, man. Get. It's not just my cheesy little sign-off saying. I say happy hunting, which means go out there, knock down some enemy fighters, and make sure you're hedged. Implosion, half the implosion. We filled the gap down from last week. We are in a very interesting moment here. I think because Jerome, he's testifying today, Jerome Powell, Chairman Powell, and he's testifying tomorrow, and he's also giving a speech Friday. He's got a couple times this week when he can either inflate or deflate this market. With a single word or sentence, folks, he could throw some lightning into this market to shake out this froth. I am hedged against that, but I am also hedged against something happening with North Korea. I bought some puts, some Russell puts out through July 10th. The 1300s, man. I put these in my filing cabinet and I'm forgetting about them. They can sit right there. And if we get another wake up one day and the futures are down 2,000 points, these things will print money. This is I sleep better at night position right here. Okay. All right, folks, I got to go. Have a great rest of your day. I'll see many of you tomorrow for Accelerated Retirement. God bless. And I'll talk to you later. Make sure you head